Hello and good morning. So today what we're going to be looking at is solving problems with scientific notation. And when we solve problems with scientific notation, we may actually need to multiply or divide in scientific notation to solve these real world problems. So everything we're going to be looking at today is real world problems where we're going to have to use these rules of multiplying or dividing in scientific notation to actually solve these problems. So let's go ahead and get to our example. A rectangular section of wilderness will be set aside for a new wildlife refuge. Its dimensions are 5 times 10 to the power of 5 meters by 4 times 10 to the power of 4 meters. Find the area of the land. A few key things that we need to be looking at when we solve problems, and we're looking at word problems. You want to highlight or underline or circle the important pieces as you're reading this. So what I did here is I went through, and as I read this question, I underlined and circled some of the important pieces. I needed to know these dimensions. I also need to find the area. So in order to answer this question, I need to know what area is. And most of us should know that area is length times width. So what I'm going to be looking at here is finding the area using my scientific notation. So area equals length times width, area equals L times W. Well, they gave me my two dimensions. It does not matter which one is the length or the width, but what I can do is go ahead and say, well, if my dimensions are 5 times 10 to the 5th meters by 4 times 10 to the 4th meters, I can go ahead and plug that in to find my area. So 5 times 10 to the 5th times 4 times 10 to the 4th. And now this looks a lot like what we have been doing at the beginning of the week, where now I can solve this. I'm multiplying in scientific notation. And when I multiply in scientific notation, I multiply our two front numbers, so 5 times 4. And remember, when I multiply in scientific notation, I add those exponents. So I would end up with 20 times 10 to the power of 9. But remember, you have to ask yourself, is this in scientific notation? Remember, in order to be in scientific notation, the number has to be between 1 and 10. 20 is not between 1 and 10, so I need to move this decimal. And when I move this decimal, I'm going to move it one place to the left, which means I'm increasing that 9 to a 10. So this would become 2.0 times 10 to the 10th power, and this would be meters squared. When we're solving problems, you need to always include your units as well. So we're going to do a few examples in class today. Hopefully this will help get us started.